Hi, hello, welcome to Traveling with Dave. I am your host, Dave McGowan, and today we're going to be talking about the CDC guidelines and how they affect shipping and cruising here in the upcoming months. We're also going to be talking about CDC guidelines for cruising and for other forms of travel, whether it's air travel, trains, buses, all kinds of travel. So we're going to talk about that today on Traveling with Dave. Thank you very much for joining me, and I'll be back in just a minute. Welcome to Traveling with Dave. I'm your host, Dave McGowan, and I am here today to give you good news. As you know, the CDC has been doing all kinds of things since the 5th of May, and there are so many developments. It's so rapid, it's so ongoing that it's really hard to keep track of. But here we go. I'm going to give you some of those results. Before I go any further, though, please go into that subscribe button, hit subscribe. Hit the bell for notifications, and hit the like button for me. I really appreciate that. And it gets other people to be able to see this show. So here we go. The CDC on the 5th of May said, yes, cruising can resume. You have to do it this way. So the way they set this up is if a cruise ship has 98% of their crew vaccinated, and 95% of their passengers vaccinated, they can cruise as of July 1st. So Carnival has 2 ships going out of Galveston, 1 ship going out of Seattle that are going to be able to cruise on those days. Royal Caribbean is sending ships to be ready to cruise, and Norwegian Cruise Line is getting cruise ships ready to go as well. Now, when they first came out with that order, they said, when you get into port, you have to take a cruise line sponsored excursion. You can't just go and explore the port. Then last week, they changed their mind on that. Yes, you can go and explore the port. Then they said you have to wear masks outside on deck unless you're in the pool. Now they say, as long as you're vaccinated and the people you're with are vaccinated, you don't have to wear that mask on deck. Then the CDC came out with announcements for all of us in all of the cities and all of the places around the United States, saying that if you were the group of vaccinated people, you don't even have to wear your mask indoors, as long as you maintain good social distance and you're with a party that you're normally with that's fully vaccinated. That's going to extend to ships. We know that's going to extend to ships. In addition to that, Dr. Fauci said that we no longer have to wear masks when we're showering, unless we're showering with someone else and we can't social. All right, he didn't say that. I'm kidding. But the reality is the CDC has been moving quickly on these new laws, new rules, new ways to cruise. In addition to that, just last night, Carnival announced that they have put their 8-day cruises back on their schedule. Now, you'll remember that prior to this, the CDC had said no cruises any more than 7 days. But now they're extending those 8-day cruises, so that's a great thing. Then yesterday, 2 things happened. First of all, the court in Florida ordered the cruise line, or the CDC, to mediate with the cruise lines in the states of Florida, Texas, and a few other states that, Washington, I believe, that are in that lawsuit in Florida that are trying to force the CDC to allow cruises to go. So the judge has ordered them to go into mediation, and they have lawyers that are assigned by the court to operate that mediation, and that's a really, really good sign. Then we also have the House of Representatives has agreed with the Senate, and they passed the bill that allows ships for 1 year, just from July 31st of this year or July 1st of this year to July 31st of next year, any ship leaving to go to Alaska, it's specifically an Alaska relief bill. Any ship going to Alaska does not have to stop in a foreign country on their way back. And I want to explain that a little bit because that's something that's really confusing to people. Why do we stop in those places? I have friends that are traveling with me this fall. We're going on a cruise from Long Beach, California. We're going to go to Hawaii. We're going to 4 islands in Hawaii. And on the way back, we're stopping in Ensenada. And my friend said, "Why are we going to Ensenada? What's the deal?" Well, there is an act that was put together a long time ago that says that any cruise ship that is not registered in the United States, that is conducting a closed loop or open loop cruise, and I'll explain that in a minute, must stop in a foreign country as one of the stops on their cruise. And I believe it may be the last stop on the cruise is what it has to be. So let me explain an open loop and a closed loop. Closed loop is where you start in one city and finish in that city. When that's the case, you have a set of rules around that. You're not required to have a passport. You can travel on a birth certificate and a driver's license. I do not advise that in any way, shape, or form, but you can do that. The other thing is that because they're not registered in the United States, cruise line has to make that stop in the foreign country. An open loop cruise is where you would leave, say, Seattle and go to Alaska. And your final stop would be in Seward. And then you get off the ship in Seward and come back. So you're still traveling from city to city in the United States, but you still have to have one foreign port in there. Now, not a big deal in the Caribbean because every place in the Caribbean is foreign, so you don't have to worry about a foreign port. But the New England cruises that normally take place every year aren't going to take place this year because Canada is not allowing cruise ships to come into Canadian ports for all of 2021. So those cruises are not going to happen. And the Alaskan cruises were in jeopardy because you had to stop in Canada before coming back to Seattle. Now, uniquely enough, there's no time limit on how long you have to stop. So I know our Hawaiian cruise this year, we're coming into Ensenada at about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And I believe we leave Ensenada at about 6. So we're not there for very long at all. It's a very short stop, but it's something that's happening. Now, the good news on the opening of this video, I was at the port of San Diego and I had the Holland America Koningsdam behind me. And what was happening there is something that's happening all over the ports in the United States. And that is that the ship crews are getting off those ships and being vaccinated. This is a very, very important thing. The ships that have gone into Galveston, their crews were vaccinated when they first went into Galveston, so they'll have their second shot in a couple of weeks, and they will have passed all of the time periods to be fully vaccinated, so that 98% of those crews will be fully vaccinated before those ships take off, and that's going to make it possible for them to cruise. The other option that you have, and this is the option that I think is less popular, is that you can cruise without having your crew vaccinated, without having your passengers vaccinated, but you have to sail test sailings. I think some cruise lines may do test sailings, but if you think about the cost of the test sailings, I don't think that's going to happen very often. I think all of the cruise lines will be sailing out of the United States by the end of September, certainly, and probably before that. It looks like New Jersey is going to open up. Bayonne has cruises scheduled. I know Long Beach has cruises scheduled, and it's exciting. Uniquely enough, San Diego is vaccinating those ship crews. 2 Holland Americas and a Princess are coming in for crew vaccinations, but nothing is going to be sailing out of San Diego at this point for a little while. Everything's going to be going out of Long Beach. And that's pretty exciting. We're really excited to be able to get back to cruising. Now, if you're not willing to wait until July and you have to go on vacation before that, well, there's good news. Most of the all-inclusive resorts are open. You can go to Cabo, you can go to the Dominican Republic, you can go to the Bahamas, you can go to any of those places and you're okay. There are about 75 countries that are allowing Americans to go into those countries. They all have varying different requirements when you go in. So you may have to have a negative COVID test within so many hours. Usually it's anywhere from 3 to 5 days before you travel. You may have to have a negative COVID test before you come home. Again, that's anywhere from 24 to 72 hours before you come home, depending on the requirements from that country. And some of that is waived by being fully vaccinated. So you can have either the vaccination or those COVID test requirements. So that's a good thing. All of those countries that are going to have different requirements, all that's going to be in a list on my website, and that'll be on my website later today. And that website is easy. It's travelingwithdave.com. There are also some limitations when you're traveling around the United States, so you want to be aware of that. In particular, Hawaii has specific limitations on travel, and Hawaii at this time is only accepting vaccinations that were done in Hawaii. So even though you're vaccinated, you have to still get the negative test before you go to Hawaii, and you need to have the negative test before you leave Hawaii. Those are some of Hawaii's rules. Just a couple of things to add. This is the very first video for me on this YouTube series. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you're getting something out of it. And I hope you'll continue to get something out of it, because I love to travel and I can't wait to share all that with you. Once again, if you do like it, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and that way not only will you see all of my videos, but other people will be able to see it, because the more likes and the more subscribers that I have, the more YouTube says, hey, people like this guy, let's promote his video. So that's what they're going to do. Until then, I want to say to you that I'm really enjoying talking with you, and I'll see you on vacation.